Thought I'd choose one that hasn't come up on the call before. Enero Group, a marketing advertising group here in Australia. They've acquired McDonald Butler Associates, a UK sales and marketing agency that includes Hotwire, a technology communications consultancy. Enero at the smaller end of the market. I must admit, I got in on the float of it a couple of years ago, and on the advice of my brother, actually, who knew the business. It was supported by the Grundy sort of investment empire, the Reg Grundy one, and it's done all right for me. But Michael, what do you think of?
Yeah, I must admit it wasn't one I was familiar with, despite the fact it's no.
Which does say to me, for a marketing and advertising agency, if they're not putting their name out in the investment markets,
it's the wrong crowd, maybe.
What sort of? Yeah,
the wrong crowd.
I see that as a positive.
Yeah,
they're marketing to people that matter.
Okay.
Not all of the brokers and analysts.
It's done wonderful things, and it's a business that's been growing a lot through acquisition over the years. In recent times, they did spin off a company called Frank, and that took the market a little bit by surprise. I think there was a bit of a management buyout there, but it did give them some cash, and obviously they're putting some of that cash to good use, hopefully, with this recent acquisition. It's not a business I'm familiar with. I need to do a lot more research before I can add anything more of value, but looking at that performance chart, you could be in worse places.
What do you reckon, Andrew?
I'm going to admit to it as well. I wasn't familiar
with
with this.
Well, and with Strawman as well. This is your end of the market.
It hasn't come up, but maybe this will change after today.
Enero management, you want to start pumping up the communication to the investment markets?
Look, I think when it comes to what matters and what a management team should be always focused on is delivering real bucks at the end of the day. And that's where the credit seems due. So although I'm very new to this, you bring up the data here, and there has been some very, very impressive profit growth, importantly per share profit growth, which is what matters to us shareholders. Shareholders have done very well. So whatever they're doing, whatever they're spending their time on, it clearly seems to be working. So like Michael, a lot of work is needed. I am naturally timid of service-oriented companies. The assets with Enero are as they say, go up and down in the elevators every day. They're the people that are there. And marketing is undoubtedly...
The creative types and all that sort of stuff.
And they're the rainmakers. It's one of those things where so many people... Everyone acknowledges that marketing is important, but as the old saying goes, half of every marketing budget is wasted. You just don't know which half. And so the continued success of this business depends on, as Michael said, some very savvy acquisitions in terms of how they manage their capital, because that's what they do. They tend to grow by acquisitions and having a nice stable of companies, but also within each of those businesses delivering some good organic growth. And when you, as an analyst, look in your crystal ball and try and say, well, what do earnings look like in the future in a hyper-competitive market, in a market that's very susceptible to the cyclicality of economic conditions, it just puts it in a harder category.
Sure.
So for that, it's just a pass for me at this point in time. Having said credit where it's due, it's done very well, and congrats to getting in early. It looks like you've done well.
No, it's not me. I took the advice of somebody else.
You made the decision to buy.
Yeah, exactly.